This is crazy, as the New York Rangers made multiple moves, breaking up their dynamic duo and their goaltender, holding them in multiple games. Peter Laviolette had enough and has called out multiple star players on the New York Rangers. We're going to break it all down, but before we do, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 70% of you who watch our videos are not actually subscribed to the channel. So if you want to do yourself a favor, it's free. Hit that subscribe button and you get to stay up to date with everything New York Rangers. And that's right, the last couple weeks, the last couple games have been very interesting for the New York Rangers, right? They haven't been putting in fantastic efforts in terms of defensive play and team defense, and Peter Laviolette has had enough. He's completely changed up the lines, and we covered the line changes in a previous video, but he had some interesting things to say as to why he did it, and one of the Rangers star players has spoken out as well on that. We'll get to that in a second, and if he's doesn't sound like he is too pleased with what's going on, but he is happy about their play as of late, because all New York Rangers fans are, of course. They're off to a great start this season, but the line's a little bit different, right? Zibanejad up there on the top line with Lafreniere and Panarin. And obviously, Panarin's had a great start to the season. Lafreniere as well. So putting Zibanejad, a guy who's struggling both defensively and offensively this season with them, might help him out, get his confidence back, at least offensively. He still has much work to do defensively at times, especially last week against the Washington Capitals. Looking a bit disinterested, I will say. But the rest of the lineup, very interesting. Riley Smith had a great game the other day with Vincent Trocheck. So the lines have been working, and obviously he went back to something that he's more, Peter Laviolette, this is, more comfortable with defensively. Miller's back with Trouba and Lindgren's back with Fox. So thought that was very interesting. And this article dropped from Vince. The new line combination showed flashes, but the real separator for the New York Rangers in Sunday's win over the New York Islanders was special teams and goaltending. They've also changed up the special teams as well, and we'll get to that, and that was a difference maker in this game. But Peter Laviolette had some interesting things to say about why he changed up the lines and changed things, made a couple moves here. And head coach Peter Laviolette has had a steady hand throughout much of his first season plus on the Blue Shirts bench. But despite squeaking out a 2-1 win the other day against the Ottawa Senators, he decided, we're going to change everything. And I think Rangers fans were calling for something to change. They were getting heavily outshot. I mean, there was a couple games in that stretch there where Igor Shesterkin absolutely won you those games, and you can't rely on him the way they have been doing recently. So the New York Islanders game was a breath of fresh air. They finally outshot their opponent, and they still gave up quite a bit in terms of shots on goal, but Shesterkin was there, and they weren't high danger chances. So the end goal here was to basically spark a couple players who are not starting the season off on the right foot, and obviously tighten up the defense. And I don't think it's just the defense in terms of the 6 guys who are playing defense, literally playing defense for the Rangers. I think it's team defense. A lot of guys on the forward side were not buying in either, and we saw that through the first couple games for sure. And obviously, you know, it's coming with mixed results so far this season. They're off to a great start in terms of their record, but their play not sustainable. But the way they played against the Islanders, more sustainable, I think. And if they were to continue to play this way, I think they will find more success. So obviously, 5-on-5, they've been pretty decent this year. We went through in the previous video a couple lines, the lines that they had before were going pretty well at 5-on-5, but the overall team structure, it just wasn't working. Igor Shesterkin really had to stand on his head the last little while, and you can't rely on him to do that all season. He's going to get gassed. And one Rangers star had this to say about the line changes, and that, of course, is Mika Zibanejad. He said, "I can look at it in a way where we have a record of 8-2-1, and we think we can play better. I would say that's a good problem to have. We do come out here, and I think we play one of our most solid games all season. That shows what kind of team we have and what kind of group we have in here." And I mean, that is true to a degree, right? They shook up their entire lineup and they played a better game, and they're just trying to refine and really define their lineup in a way where, you know, solidify who's going to play where and what role you have. And even Will Cooley has moved up into, you know, the second line there. He's earned that promotion as well. And Zibanejad went on to say, "I've been pretty consistent for 90 games," he added. And so now you come in and you're going to mix it up verbally. And from the meetings that we have, there's communication between players and coaches just to make sure that we understand this isn't the way we want to play. So I do think it's a combination. Yeah, there's a shakeup, but yeah, we address those things too. So, you know what? I love what he said there. They just want to make sure, and there's an open line of communication, and they just want to make sure that, you know what, they're winning. They're off to a hot start this season, but the way they were playing, not sustainable. And I think Rangers fans saw it, and you know what, something had to change. And not only the lines, but the special teams changed as well. Peter Laviolette went on to change some of the, the PK as well. And they entered Sunday tied for first in the NHL with a 91.2% success rate on the PK, and they went 5 for 5 in the game against the Islanders to up that percentage to 92.3, and also still in number one spot there in the PK for the entire National Hockey League. And the first one obviously set the tone for the afternoon. Absolutely. I mean, you score your first goal on the penalty kill, that really sets the tone for the game, and it was a great goal by Mika Zibanejad over to Chris Kreider. Nice little passing play there. And Shesterkin said, the PK played really, really well. So wouldn't change too much with that any further. I mean, the special teams have been okay. I don't know if it's been necessarily a problem for the New York Rangers so far this season, but the 5-on-5 play certainly was, and it seems as if they addressed that. So I think that is great. And in terms of Shesterkin, I mean, Zach Jones went on to say that he feels confident playing in front of Shesterkin, right? He wants the man to get paid. Obviously, he's the best goalie, hands down. There's nobody as good as Igor Shesterkin, and he is the guy who's been standing on his head. Quite literally, almost did a flip here to stop this from going in the other night against the Ottawa Senators. So he has been fantastic so far this season. And when you look at some of the impact charts, I mean, much better performance against the New York Islanders the other night. They played a much more complete game and didn't, limited shots to a degree. They still gave up a lot of shots, but the shots were not high percentage scoring chances. So that was a lot better in that game. And yes, the Islanders are injury riddled, and the Rangers have some interesting matchups coming up the next couple games and couple weeks. So can they, I think this style of play is sustainable. It wasn't a fluke. The Islanders, yes, they were missing a lot of players, but just the overall team game looked different. It looked more complete, especially at 5-on-5. So they have to continue to do that. And I think, you know what, if we can get back to the lines for a second, a lot of these lines just look a little bit more complete. I think Cooley earning that promotion is great. I think Kreider being able to get some of those other guys going as well. Like, you'd like to see Kako kind of get going offensively this year too. The fourth line was doing their thing. They've been good too, right? So I think it was a lot of it was also the defense. I think Miller, Fox was just not working, right? They just saw something. I kind of, was saying they were playing all right, but I think that it was more just I saw that the coaching staff saw that there was something there that they liked and wanted to try it out. And obviously it was very early in the season, but did not work. I love Lindgren and Fox together. I think they're great. Are we going to see Lindgren as a New York Ranger past this year? We don't know at this point, but I think Lindgren and Fox have been great. I wouldn't break that up at this time. And obviously I think Mancini's going to kind of come in and out maybe for Jones at certain points. I don't think, Jones has certainly not solidified a spot, and I think Mancini's been good. But again, looks like he's going to be a healthy scratch in the next game. We'll see how that plays out. But you know what? The lines look a lot better, at least 5-on-5, and they were connecting, especially offensively the other day. So much to like there. But let me know in the comments what you think of the lineup changes and why Peter Laviolette wanted to kind of switch things up. And obviously Mika Zibanejad, being pretty transparent with how he feels about everything going on, and the fact that, I think it's pretty good that he said he understands, and they all understand that, yes, they were winning, they're off to a hot start, but it wasn't the way they wanted to play. So I think that is a very good thing for some of your leaders on the team to be saying. So let me know what you think in the comments, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.